You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So, if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your, stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself, Coaching April. How to move on from a man who doesn't meet your needs, even if it feels like love. Ladies, welcome. It is Life Check Yourself. And guess what? April has shown up. Her arms open, her heart open, with her little heart beating so fast in fear. Because she is willing to life check herself. We're going to be talking to April. She got divorced 2 years ago, and she keeps, I did this too, April, dating the same guy with a different face. And April also goes back to guys she used to date. So you're a recycler.
Yes, I think I forgot I shared that. Yes.
I love it. You're like an environmentally conscious dater. You just keep dating the same guys over and over again, saving other women from dating them.
Yeah.
Right. And she met a great guy who she think love bombed me. We're going to hear more about that. And she's addicted to the man crack. She can't let go. And she is futurizing a lot. So first of all, I'm glad you're here. So tell me about the guy who love bombed you. Why? What are you when you're thinking about him and you can't stop? What are the thoughts that go through your head?
Okay, I am thinking about all the things that he said.
Like what?
Sweet, like that he never felt this way. Like, and he doesn't just mean his last relationship, but he means like the last 20 years.
Okay.
Or him taking my face in his hands and telling me that he wanted to make me happy and that he was going to make me a priority. And I think about the compliments that he would give and how it was just so easy to talk to him and how he was thoughtful and attentive and interested in me. And he remembered like my favorite song and he remembered what brand of water I drink because I'm a water snob, and just the little things that he would do and the effort that he would make. That's what I think about.
Okay, I have to know, what kind of water do you drink?
So it's Hills.
Okay, I was like, thinking, are other water snobs like me wondering? I just need to ask. Okay, so you had these moments, and they were really strong emotional chords that got hit. Because he's like putting his face in your hands. It's like a movie, right? It's like, right, telling you all those amazing things. So how long did you date him where he was engaged like that?
Probably, and we went on like 2 vacations during this time together too. So probably 7, 8 weeks where he was like that.
So he was like all in right away, and you guys went on vacation. And did you ever have the exclusive conversation, or was it just like unarticulated?
No, he's like, hey, I want to show you something. And he was coming over, like, I want to show you something. I'm like, oh, okay. So he came over, he showed me his phone. He had deleted all of his dating apps. He's like, I'm not looking for anyone else. I don't want to find anyone else. Yeah. And so, I mean, before, we had sex, we had that conversation, which he initiated.
Okay. And then, so 7, 8 weeks in, and then what happens? Did he ghost you? Was it a slow fade? What happened?
He seriously hurt his back. He had to go across the country for training for his work, issues with his ex and kids. And he just started, I guess slow fading. Like, I went out there and visited him, and then I went on vacation after that. And it was just, he was not as communicative as he was before. It would go a couple of days. I would text him, and then I wouldn't hear back from him right away. It was just the dynamic shifted.
Okay. And did you have a direct conversation about it with him?
I did. I do tend to steer away from confrontation because of my marriage was like a shit show and emotionally abusive and all that. But I did have a direct conversation with him, and I'm like, "This is what I need," and he's like, "I'm doing the best I can right now." And
Okay.
so we kept trying for a little bit, and then he's the main custodian of his kids, and I'd asked him to do like three different things over a short period of time, and he couldn't. And so then he sent me texts like, I needed to think about what I wanted and was he it, and I deserve more, and I deserve someone that give him, get their attention 100%. And I'm sure he's sure my girlfriends are telling me this, and I need to think about what I wanted. And I'm like, this is all via text. I'm like, sounds like you were wanting me to break up with you. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
choice do I have here? I'm like, he's like, well, no. He's like, I'm not ending things, especially not over text. We can talk about this another time. I'm like, there's nothing else to talk about, you know? Like,
So did you end
and
it?
so I did end it. I did end it. It's not ended anymore, but I did end it.
Okay. And so now you're
Um,
back in it.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
So what? Okay. This is where it gets real, April. So what is kinda?
So we had another conversation like a week later. Okay, I had a few drinks. I might have sent a text. I was like, you really hurt me.
Yeah.
And, he responded and he's like, that was never my intention. Um, it's not about you. I'm just going through a lot right now, yada, yada.
Right.
And so, and that I'm like, okay, well, thank you for talking this out with me. And it was like done. And then a week after that, here's my shame. So a week after that, I texted him. I'm like, hey, I've just been thinking about you. Want to see how your back is doing. How are you? And he immediately texted me back. I've been thinking about you and how are you? How are you
Did
feeling?
he invite you over, April?
He asked if he could come over.
Okay. And you said yes.
I did.
And then he put the ding dang in the wing wang.
No,
No.
no,
Ooh, okay.
no.
So you said no.
I did. Yeah, he came over and we just talked, and he explained that it wasn't me and that it wasn't about me, and he wanted to make sure that I knew that. And we just casually talked and caught up, made out a little bit, and then I had him leave.
Okay.
But then we've been talking.
Okay. So here's the thing. What I want to just point out is you keep dating the same guy, and my guess is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the same guy is a version of this guy, right? Like he's really into you, but he can't give you what you need.
Yeah.
And then they tell you, I can't give you what you need. And then you are like, never mind. And you just kind of keep taking it.
Oh gosh. Well, when you put it like that, I will say this: there have been other guys like him that I have ended and it stayed done.
Yeah.
There's something about this guy, but yes, it's
Okay.
yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. First of all, you're so brave because every single woman is like just turned up the volume and told their kids to shut up so they can hear this. I'm trying to listen to this. Because there's always that one guy, or there's always those two guys, or whatever it is, and they just have this certain thing. So I think the most important thing is when I repeat that back to you and you say, well, when you say it like that, what sounds different about what I'm saying?
That because I guess in my mind, I'm not dropping what I want, but like to hear you say, so you tell them what you want, they can't give you what you deserve, and you just like, okay, never mind. Like, that's not who I want to be. And that's, I guess, not how I let myself see it.
Right. Okay. This is huge because this is what we do. We rationalize, cope, and intellectualize when we are trying to figure out a way to get what we want from an unhealthy place. Because there's a part of you wouldn't have asked me, should I continue this relationship, if there's a part of you that's asking a question. So what part of you knows something's off? It's dissonant, like energetically, like it doesn't feel right. What part of you knows that? Even if it's a tiny piece.
When you say what part of me, tell me what you mean by that.
Well, is there like a wise part of you? Is there a part of you that is like at the dark soul of the night, you have this like little hit of it and you just say never mind to yourself? Like, do you ever have those like little whispers?
I do. I mean, I think it's definitely, especially when I'm not getting the communication or responses that I want. And I'm like, screw this. I'm done. Like, I deserve better. But there's that constant underlying voice. I ask like 7 of my friends and I listen to the one that gives me the answer I want to hear.
Yeah, right. Because we're consensus building, right?
Yeah.
So then you also ask me like, why do you keep dating the same guy over and over again? So why, and what is it about this guy? So if you think about a time in your life, and it might be with a parent or a parent role, or even maybe if it's not then your ex-husband, how old are you? If you can remember a time in your life where you were trying to earn somebody's love, time, or affection. Was it your dad?
God.
Was it your dad?
It was my stepmom.
Your stepmom. Okay. So how did that feel when you were like, F her or whatever, and then she would give you attention? What that cycle feel like for you as a kid? And how old were you?
It started young. She raised me since I was 4, and my earliest memory is just her being mad at me, so, so yeah, I mean, definitely hot and cold. Like I say it to this day, like I don't like hot and cold because, she would be mean and I'd be like, screw this. I'm not gonna, care. And then she would be just a little bit nice, and it would like, I'd let my guard down. And it would just be a cycle.
So you, girlfriend, need to listen to this episode 14,000 times because you just described the relationship with this guy. It's the same relationship. Did you hear that when you were telling me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing, like for you, and this is really interesting. There is a way that our neural programming experiences love when we're young. Some of it is martyr love, right? Like, oh, I do everything for you. And those ladies are like doing everything, for people and say, see, I love you. And there are people who do withholding, right? Like, oh, the way I get love is I withhold love, right? But your flavor is crumbs. Right? I get a little bit and then I'm like, oh yeah, you love me. And then they take it away and then you're like, no, let me keep trying. Right. And then you get a little bit. And so it makes perfect sense that this guy has really got a thing with you because why? Why does it make perfect sense that this guy is like in your bones?
Because of like, how he keeps showing back up and being nice.
Yeah. So who does that remind you of?
That reminds me of my stepmom and my ex-husband.
Okay. So the answer to the why do I keep doing this over and over again is because that is familiar. And that 4-year-old little girl, and this is really huge, she's going to go try and get love from mom, stepmom, from other people until she realizes that that's impossible.
I hear you and you're right. And it just makes me so mad because I've done the therapy. You know what I mean? I've done decades of therapy. I've done neuro stuff to just try and like break that,
Well, so here's the thing, like willpower, as you said, it's not going to work. So I want you to think about, can you imagine that 4-year-old little girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were going to talk to her and really acknowledge what it was like to be 4 and have this stepmom who's mean and then is really nice and then is mean, what do you think she would need to hear? Like if you were going to pull up a little chair next to 4-year-old little April, what would you say to her?
I would tell her that, the issue isn't her, it's with the other person. They're broken or damaged or have their own issues that make them incapable of giving you what you need and showing you that you're worthy and that you're lovable.
Okay. So when you say that to 4-year-old little April and she says, it's not you, what does she really think? Does she believe that?
No.
Okay. So that's why nothing works.
Okay.
She doesn't need to hear that.
Okay. But it makes sense.
I know, but what is okay? So I'm gonna give you the answer, but I want you guys all to really think about this. Who's listening? This is the biggest mistake we make when we're trying to like coach ourselves through these kinds of things, because you're saying to 4-year-old little April what you've been saying to adult April, and what you just told me is it doesn't matter. You know that, but you're still going to keep doing it because you don't believe it. Right? Okay. Yeah. So here's the answer. This is what I think 4-year-old April needs to hear. And it goes something like this. Honey, this is not okay. Like, she is an adult and she's supposed to know better. And it is not okay. It makes perfect sense that you are so sad. And like, I so get it that you are just trying because you're 4. And she's your stepmom, and she's supposed to give you consistent love. It must be so hard for you. Tell me about it. Okay, so what's she going to say to that?
That first line hit me. That is not okay. Yeah. I mean, I like old April felt very validated, So I would imagine she would tell you about it.
Right? She was like, yeah, it's not okay. And you know what she did to me? She did this. And I would say to little April, oh my God, I am so mad at her for you. That is not okay. I can't believe Dad married this person that's doing this to you. That's what 4-year-old April needs to have a little conversation with you that starts like that. Because that's what I want to say to grown-up April is like, I am so mad at this guy for you. Like, I want to go and like punch him in the face. I want to say, if you really love April, you'll stop doing this and show up when you can be a man and give her what she wants. Right? So, so the conversation, and we teach this with our clients all the time. It's we call it an ACE conversation, which is acknowledge, confirm, and educate. And the step that most people forget and they don't learn when they do therapy and all these sorts of things is you get an intellectual understanding and you go, oh, that makes sense. But that doesn't make sense to the 4-year-old part of your brain, which still has that neural wiring. And the only way to undo it is to spend some serious time soothing what we call your little who, the 4-year-old part of yourself that is just trying so desperately. Like, remember that little storybook, Are You My Mom? Are You My Mother? Are you my mother? Right? Where she's that little, right? And that's what you're doing. You're like, are you my mother, ex-husband? Will you love me? Are you my mother, boyfriend? Kind of, right? And it's like, we have to, Sheldon Gardner, who I interviewed on the show, said you have to orphan yourself. You have to understand that is never going to happen. You're never going to get that hole in yourself met. So the second part of that conversation is confirming that it makes perfect sense why she feels the way she does. So instead of saying like it's what your friends are saying, right? Or what people will say when they're rationalizing and justifying, is trying to find the bright side or reframe it. But what 4-year-old little April needs to hear is, oh my God, it makes perfect sense that you don't feel important. So if you're going to talk to 4-year-old April, that part of you that feels 4 in this situation, why does it make perfect sense that you keep dating the same guy over and over again and that you don't feel important enough?
Ooh, am I answering that?
Yeah, you're answering that, right? So if she's going to tell me, why does it make perfect sense that she's so frustrated and so sad and doesn't feel important?
It makes perfect sense that she feels that way because she didn't feel loved
Yeah.
or important or worthy or a priority. Yeah.
So you need to tell her that she is 100% right. You weren't a priority. Like, it makes perfect sense. She'll be like, yay, somebody finally gets me. Thank you, grown up April.
Okay.
And then the educate piece is, and it's going to take some time, right? You have to build up trust of what we call your little who and your adult self. Like right now, she's like, I don't know if I can trust you. But what you want to start telling her is, you know what? You can trust me because now I totally get it. And I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you're not put in that same position again. And I'm going to make different choices. And you're going to check, do you believe me? And she'll be like, I don't know, because you've been doing that for like 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
And then you need to have a dialogue with her. So, well, what's one, like, are you willing to be open to trusting me? And maybe she'll say, well, maybe if you, right? And I don't know what that answer is for you.
Right. Yeah.
But your adult self's job is to be the parent to 4-year-old little April that she didn't have, right? Which is protecting her.
Yeah.
Because every time you go back to that guy, little April is like, fuck you. See? Right? Like, she's like, I can't believe this is happening again. See, I was right. If you put your heart out there, people will screw you. You don't want to keep practicing that.
Right. No. Yeah.
Man. Okay. So what's coming up for you? What's going on for you?
Everything that you're saying makes total sense. There is just, and I hate it, and I'll be honest. So for all the other women out there, I'm just gonna say it. Every fiber in my being wants to make excuses and tell you why I should give him another chance. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course. But why does that make perfect sense? If you're 4 years old and someone comes to you and is like, hey, girlfriend, your mom's like, your stepmom, she's not ever going to be there for you. What's 4-year-old going to do? What do 4-year-olds do? What do we do? What do we learn to do to survive?
I would want to argue. I'd want to like not believe what that person was saying.
Yeah, you'd be like, no way. My mom, she's so sweet because look, she did all those things for me. She held my face in her hands and said, oh, April, you're so beautiful. I'm so glad I married your dad so I could have you as a stepdaughter. Yeah, so
how do you?
Yeah, it makes sense. I just want you to understand that everything you're feeling is because we don't, as adults, we don't want to believe that. We always want to believe that that parent that we had is going to fucking come through for us. And they didn't, and we can't go back. It sucks. And you know what, April? It sucks that happened to you. And I am mad at your stepmom for you. And I wish I could go tell her.
Thank you.
You know, so it makes perfect sense. So the question really is like, what's at stake if you don't give her what she needs?
Yeah, feeling like this, feeling upset, feeling insecure, feeling unworthy, wasting my time, wasting more years of my life to end up back in the same position.
Yeah. And this problem doesn't go away with time, as you have already noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. It does not go away.
And so, what I want you to think about, and you said, how do I change it? There's this: a 4-year-old is trying to trying to date and have relationships.
Mm,
So, is that safe right now for her?
no,
No.
no, no.
So, it's not safe. And so, what is possible is that when you start to fill that need up yourself, right, and start to feel whole, and that you're not constantly searching for that, you're going to date from a different place. You won't attract those guys over and over again because your wiring is going to be changed. So you don't even know how amazing it is in the other side of the world
Yeah.
where amazing, beautiful, smart, cool adult April is dating. But right now, there's a 4-year-old out there trying to date. And I bet you're dating a 4-year-old guy.
Probably. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
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 And it's like, but, yesterday he shared his goldfish with me and now he's like, not. that, that sucks. And it makes you want to go home and cry. And so when you asked me the question, well, how do I change it? Like from everything that we've talked about, like, what do you think you're willing to do just as a baby step to start to advocate for that little who part of yourself?
I think first I'm gonna, try having like, a conversation with her.
Yeah.
I think that'll be big. I've got to start. I mean, I struggle with this with adult April, is making promises to myself that I don't keep. So I need to be, I'm making promises to little who I need to be keeping those. And I mean, I feel like adult April is doing, like I've started filling my life with the things, that I want to do and the places I want to go. And I'm, trying to work on me. So I'm hoping that's also the right path.
It is. And so here's what needs to happen. Little who April needs to start trusting adult April.
Yeah.
You guys have to. So your job, when you say I'm working on myself, your job is to start parenting that little part of yourself so that she feels safe, which means, and I know this sounds so silly, but it's so true. Talking to her, like when you start like jonesing for the dude, right? I want you to start thinking about, oh my God, this isn't me. This is fucking my 4-year-old self who's like, oh, I want to call him. I want to text him right now. Right. And you're like, oh, that's crazy. But you're like, oh, but she's feeling needy right now. So instead of texting him, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Because I'm feeling needy, or, she's feeling needy.
Yep.
So figure out why she's feeling needy and how to like address that.
Yeah. You're going to say, what's going on? Right. Like, and you're going to tell her, like, oh, this is exactly what stepmom did. It makes perfect sense. Honey, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You have to have that conversation a bazillion times. It's not like a one and done, and you need to soothe her, right? And confirm why it makes perfect sense. And then adult you needs to say, you know what? This guy isn't mom. And you know what? If we reach out to him, it's never going to be mom. And you know what? He's going to just keep doing the same thing. So what do you really need right now? What do I really need right now? I need a healthy distraction. I need to call a friend. I need to go watch a YouTube video. I need to go for a walk. I need to exercise. I need to call a friend, whatever it is. And that's how you really start working on you, is by meeting your own needs in a healthy way. And when you are starting to have that craving for those people that aren't there for you, to go to that part of you that wants mom's love and handle that.
Okay. Right. Because I'm trying to get like, if I can make them pay attention or love me, then like I'm feeling like it's validated, but it's not It's not about that person. It's about what stepmom left.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
so it's like you have to go through that process so that adult April can show up and make a new choice,
Yeah.
which is, and ask your little who, like, what do you need from me right now? What do you need me to do?
Yeah. Okay.
And here's the last thing I'll say, because I can hear in your voice, you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I just want a man cookie right now.
No, I think this is good.
Yeah, right. But it's like, it's going to be uncomfortable because changing patterns requires a shit ton of courage.
Yeah. I think what you hear, I think it's fear.
Yeah.
Because it's what if there's not somebody else that's going to, because like this guy is heads and shoulders above what my ex was. You know what I mean? Like heads and shoulders above guys I've dated since my ex. Like, so my fear is like, what if,
What if
you know,
that's the
there's,
best you can do?
yeah,
Okay. So I've been saying this a lot lately, and I can't even remember I heard it anymore, but it's this. You didn't come this far to only get this far.
all right, okay.
Because he's not the best. And what you're doing is you're telling the universe, this is all the love I can handle. And that's only April because that's all the love you got. But you are totally capable of a great guy who does have the time to make you a priority.
Okay. Little who and I will have a talk, and we will begin to believe that.
Yeah, it's going to be a process. It's going to be uncomfortable. And I just want you to remember, like, in order to like really live that life beyond your wildest dreams, you have to be courageous and really solve the actual problem, which isn't about this guy. He's not your problem, right? It's really getting back to loving yourself enough and healing that part of you in this way that I talked about, because knowing it isn't going to do anything.
Yeah. It made me feel better too, knowing that like I'm not gonna fill that hole. Like I'm not gonna fix it. You know what I mean? Like that hole that
Mm-mm.
she left, you know, you mentioned earlier that I can't fix it. Like either I have to like accept it and move on and fix my life now, but knowing that, years of therapy or feeling bad that I'm 40 something years old and still not over it, it helps me like let go of that guilt and that anger about it, around
Well,
it.
right, because your little who doesn't need more guilt and more anger, right? She
Yeah.
needs like unconditional love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense. And so now you have an opportunity to actually solve the real problem and handle the real piece, which is the emotional healing, not just the intellectual understanding.
Yeah. I think I have that one part down. I have the intellectual part down.
Most people, I mean, honestly, most people do. And
Right.
that's why we do the work that we do. And that's why, the show is here. It's to show you that there's a lot of other pieces that are emotional, that your brain only rewires through the emotional work. You can't think your way into your new thoughts.
Damn it.
Damn it. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me, what's your one thing I said that really resonated that you just want to like hold on to, that you really want to have as an anchor?
No, there's so much. I'm going to listen to this episode many, many times. Thank you. Um, I think like telling little April that that it wasn't okay. Like instead of trying to rationalize and use logic with how my stepmom was, just let her like acknowledging her feelings and that it's not okay. That when you said it, that hit me hard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's not okay then. It's not okay now.
Yeah, it's not okay. And it's not okay for anyone to treat you that way in your present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Woohoo! You're so brave. You did so good. Ladies, cheers, hugs to April. Send her good vibes. And whatever you do, don't forget to life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So, if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.